Hi there, Jim Germain speaking about the Roughriders. How do riders come out of training camp? Bill Parcells says that training camp is for setting a tone. It's a talent-driven sport, and you should be testing your players to see what they're made of. There's a big difference this year from last year. The head coach, Chamberlain, he seems to be on top of the players. He's got a lot of energy. Some of the former riders I've been talking to are interested in that. They noticed that right away, and that's a big difference from last year. Last year, I noticed that the riders, when they came here on June 9th, they were flat. Being a former defensive back myself, I was watching the defensive backs and the coverages. The veterans were being beat by 3, 4, 5 yards. There seemed to be no intensity. You know, defensive backs are allowed to use their hands and their arms to ward off the receivers if their position's threatened. There was none of that. There was no competition. Wayne, what do you think of this? He played 12 years. He was a 7-time All-Star. He says, when I used to go to training camp, we went to training camp, he says, and our job was on the line every year. You had to be focused, and when we came out of training camp, we were ready to go. And so I'm watching the riders, and it just wasn't there. The coaches weren't on top of the players. There was no expectations. I remember watching the Huskies work out, and I remember the defensive backs there were battling with the receivers. They were using their arms to ward them off, not letting them run past them. I didn't see that with the Riders, and it really surprised me. They lost their first couple of games. Defensive backs were playing terrible, and everybody was shocked and wondering what was happening. I think it was a low standard set by the coaches. Marshall got fired after, how many games was it, 6 or 7 games? Nobody was surprised. Richie Hall didn't do much better. All year long, the defensive backs were out of position. It was a tone that was set from the beginning of the year. So I'm actually looking forward to this year to watch the intensity. I know my friend Wayne and some of his former rider friends and the old Hilltops are going to be watching the same thing, and they'll come out of the gate roaring and ready to go. Talk to you next time.